glad to meet you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So give us some background in terms of how the program got started, and is it located in this particular area, the Bay Area, or is it outside the Bay Area?
No. So let me give you some quick background. I'm a bit of a unicorn. I'm not an academic.
Okay.
I've spent 30 years of my career in the cyber industry. And over that time, I've actually run 5 different cyber companies. And the last one was one of the largest in the nation, sold it to private equity in 2018, stuck around for a little while to do some M&A work, and then hit upon a thesis. And the thesis was, we're short people. Our real challenge in the industry is workforce development. We can deploy technology everywhere, but if we don't have anybody to run it, we don't have anybody to activate on it, that's the real challenge. So I took the time to align with Boise State up in Boise, Idaho. They're known for the blue field, which we'll get to, because the blue field has some really interesting alignment there. And they brought me on up. They recognized that there's this need for industry and education alignment. So they brought me on up to run this institute and really focus in on trying to provide a ready for work workforce. And that's really what we're activated around, is being able to turn around and provide out to industry, to partners throughout the country, a ready to work kind of workforce. And it's based upon what I saw trying to transform our workforce back when I was with my former company, Terra Verde. We went through the process of being a consultancy and then moved into an MSSP. And that transformation of workforce really made us focus and realize that's really hard to find entry and mid-level cyber analysts and cyber engineers that can actually do the work.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm here, that's why I'm at Boise State, and we can get into the why Stellar. I think there's some just phenomenal opportunities around this platform. They've been a great partner, but
yeah.
I figure I'd give you that background to start things
so
off.
there's absolutely no doubt that within the cybersecurity sector today, we've got what they call a negative unemployment rate, which is good for all of us, right? But I can't tell you how many times when I'm speaking to a young student who's looking for a career and they tell me that they want to get into IT, the first thing I tell them is, hey, if you're looking at IT, there's various niches within that field, and cybersecurity is one where we need a lot of help, and a lot of them don't even,
they don't even think about
initially, they're not even thinking of cyber as a field of study, but I've been finding out that many large community as well as state colleges around the U.S. are now offering, a cybersecurity degree, whereas in the past, if you wanted to get into IT, you got a computer science degree, and a lot of people today still think, oh, if I'm getting into IT, that must mean I've got to program, I've got to know C++, I've got to know, Python and Fortran and so forth. And I've got to tell you, that's the farthest from the truth, because I've never taken a single programming class, and I somehow ended up the CISO over at General Motors in Harmon. So it's a great area to get into, especially if you're just coming out of school. And I'm curious, the program that you're doing today, you're partnering with Stellar Cyber. So Stellar Cyber is one of the open XDR solutions and vendors that are here today. What is Stellar Cyber? What's that partnership doing today? How are they assisting in training the next generation and the future of cybersecurity?
Yeah, no, great question, Maurice. And I think, I'm going to take a couple of different pathways there. I think you've touched on some really interesting aspects. And one of the things that we're trying to do, and Boise State's really trying to lead the charge across the nation around this, is trying to move away from this concept that we see within colleges and universities across the nation where cyber gets shoved under computer science. And what happens is you end up in this filtering mode. So rather than students going through and learning about what it takes to be a cyber defense analyst or a cyber engineer, they have to learn theory, and they have to learn, they have to learn different programming languages, and it filters these students. There's no reason for a student to have to take differential equations and high levels of math in order to get into cyber. I didn't, and I've had a 30-year career doing this. So, part of the challenge that we have is that we've got to transform how we're doing things in academia so that we're producing a worker that's ready to work and capable of working day one. And so part of what we've done is we've actually knocked down barriers in how we're opening programs up for students. And what we're doing is we're saying, you don't need this theory. We're going to give you real world experience. We're going to give you the opportunity to learn with real operational leaders in the industry. So we've got adjuncts coming to us and instructors coming to us from all over the country saying, please let us be a part of this because we want to teach the next generation of students. So I'm going to also pivot a little bit and talk about a real important formula. Knowledge plus skills equals competency. Pretty simple, right? Knowledge. I get that knowledge in the classroom. Skills. I get skills through doing real work, both in a simulated environment and then doing real work for people and providing real value. And our goal is to provide that competency so that students can come out, again, ready to work. They're working for our industry partners. And this is really where Stellar comes on in, is that as we were looking at how to give our students that real world competency, we realized another issue, and that is across the nation, our urban centers and our commercial industry, they can address the issues of cyber. They may not be doing it as effectively as we'd all like, but they can do it. Where the real challenge is in our rural communities. Those communities that are unable to hire an IT person, let alone recognize cyber. But yet they've got critical resident data. They've got critical health data. They've got critical infrastructure that needs protecting. And so Boise State produced a program that is giving students real world skills, real world knowledge, and we're doing so by providing a service out to our rural communities across the state of Idaho. And what this does is it really ties things together for our students and provides a social good to our rural communities. And Stellar has been just a fantastic partner because they recognize the social good of what we're trying to achieve. And they've come in and they've said, we want to be a partner with Boise State and we want to provide you a core platform that our students can learn from and engage with and utilize to protect our rural communities across Idaho.
I'm wondering, Ed, with your program with Boise, are there opportunities for internships for these students to actually intern, whether it be a paid internship or not? Are you partnering, or is Boise partnering with various companies within their community to bring in some student interns?
We are. Actually, the state of Idaho has been really phenomenal in supporting this. Our governor, our legislature, and our state level funding sources have really seen the opportunity associated with this program that we lovingly call the Cyber Dome. So our goal is to provide a dome over Idaho and protect those rural communities and engage our students in a 6-month internship program where they're actually getting key knowledge, they're getting key skills, and they're getting time in a real world setting. That's huge.
Yeah,
that's huge. So
absolutely.
Our students are able to come on out into a SOC, ready to work, and they're able to say on their resume, here's all the things that I've done. Here's how I've done it. Here's what I've been able to accomplish. And here's a portfolio of things that I can do for you as an employer right now.
What's interesting is also those students coming into a SOC have the opportunity, to be trained and educated into an open XDR environment.
That's
so
right.
What we're doing here is we're training our next generation to be familiar with not just endpoint detection or incident detection and response, but also what is this extended detection and response about? What is this open XDR? So I just love that we're training a new generation with new tools that they're going to be able to take into the field, into companies, and hopefully validating that in fact, they've got the most resilient and mitigation products and services via Open XDR.
Definitely, definitely. And I think, at the end of the day, it's also helping provide out to our rural communities an awareness and understanding of just how unready they are to deal with cyber threats. I mean, we have our rural community leaders coming back to us just thanking us because we're actually giving them awareness that they never would have had using these technologies. And all too often, it's a situation where they've felt and they've been taught for years that a firewall and antivirus is all that I need. And I liken that, the metaphor I like to use is that's essentially, a Civil War gun being used on a World War II battlefield. And what we've been able to do with Open XDR, with Stellar, with all of our partners, is not just engage our students in learning and awareness and competency development, it's actually we're elevating the game for our rural communities that we're supporting and making it harder for our adversaries to actually do anything without us noticing, responding, and eliminating them from the ecosystem. As a result, my perspective is let them go attack Montana.
Yeah.
No offense to Montana.
Yeah.
If anybody's in Montana and wants to work with us, let's do so. But at the end of the day, I'm all about protecting Idaho and providing our students an opportunity to really gain this competency. And in doing so, give our partner communities and our employers a leg up in terms of hiring our
Absolutely.
students.
One of the challenges that I would like to just kind of throw out to all of you here today, especially if you're in a leadership position within your company, within IT, within cyber, is to decide to mentor a young student, bring them to an event like this. I had the opportunity, I'll kind of quickly share here, about 5 years ago, to mentor two students. They were both under 20. I brought one to Black Hat with me. You can imagine the experience he had in Vegas at Black Hat, but I took him to all of my CISO meetings and discussions with partners. We sat down with a number of legacy companies, and he was able to fully see what it was like to be a CISO at an event and to participate in closing some deals. I took him to the dinners. I took him to the both the educational series that we sat through, but also even the after-hour parties. And today, that same person is now a cybersecurity director for the Department of Defense and the IRS doing vulnerability scanning. He's only 27 years old, and he's already a cybersecurity director.
That's great.
For the DoD. So if you have that opportunity, and I have spoken to a few people at the event here at RSA who have taken that opportunity to bring in, maybe it's their staff, maybe they're staffing with a group of college students who are helping out at an event like this. I would just encourage you to partner with someone and to, as best as you can, give back to the community in a mentoring forum.
Couldn't agree with you more. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, Maurice, when you said negative unemployment. I mean, I use that term consistently whenever I'm talking to students, I'm talking to our clients, I'm talking to our partners. And really, what it comes down to is, I look at it and say it's about negative 30%.
Yeah.
We're missing about a third of the team that we need. And every single opportunity we can take to pull students into cyber, to show that funnel as wide as it can be, and to give them the tools and knowledge and skill development so that they can come out ready to work, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Irrespective of the pathway, everybody's got to take this approach, and I love the fact that you're doing that.
Yeah. Well, Ed, thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.